I was in Nurina to film the Nullarbor muster, and it was recommended that I talk to Jill Campbell on Kybo Station. Jill is recognised as the, do I say, unofficial historian of the Nullarbor. Keeping in mind that it was a conversation primarily, and my major gripe is interviewers who can't keep their mouth shut. I wish now that I'd kept my mouth shut on occasion, but I didn't, and the conversation that was recorded is presented here in full. The video at times is annoying because the camera is being used primarily as an audio recording medium and paying no mind to vision. This video is an account of the conversation with Jill and Rod Campbell, who joined in the chat. I thank them for their hospitality and openness. This was recorded in May in 2014. No, it wasn't. It was recorded in April 2015. Get it right. I'll just...
Some records from with the prisoner of war camp.
All right, yep.
The camps were installed as a temporary basis.
But essentially what you're saying is that the prisoner of war guys were installed on a temporary basis to... Actually, I wonder if I can photograph some of that.
Shortage of manpower during World War II, and apart from a few wooden structures, the main form of accommodation was intense. Consequently, there was very little left of the actual site. But
can I try and photograph that?
Yep.
Mate, please?
Yep, and we used to.
So, okay, let's just recap a little bit. The Old Coach Road as such was, it's just something that nobody really knows why it's called that, because it hasn't been,
I've got different stories along the early days and that, and they're all just going along the bottom of the escarpment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so why are they going?
Well, along the top and then down the bottom and then back up again. Yep, yep.
You know.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, that's something I couldn't understand either.
So, goodness knows when.
So,
why?
And your dad started the Cocklebiddy Roadhouse and built the modern motel units there.
It's now the staff quarters, I think. Now it's
right.
You know, but at the time it was the modern one.
And your son's got
Mundrabilla Station.
Mundrabilla Station. Okay. Now the telegraph station that's at Mundrabilla. On the road, on that bend there, the old telegraph station that's there on the side of the road.
Not a telegraph station at Mundrabilla.
Not Mundrabilla. No, of course it's not.
No.
It's back further.
At Euclid is.
There, no, further back. Balladonia. Balladonia. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's Crockers.
Don't know where you got Mundrabilla from. No, Balladonia. That
was the Crockers.
Righto. Now then, it was open at one point in time. You know, they had the thing set up for people to go and have a look at. Now it looks as though it's just being allowed to go to ruin or something.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed in.
John Crocker, it's been sold, and I think it's been sold twice since the original owner's son had it.
Right.
And his family were Pontons, and they established it in 18 whatever. But,
right.
Yeah, and John would have sold the place when he was in his 50s or 60s, you know, when he was about 50 or 60 years old, but it's been sold about twice. It's recently just been sold again. But when the Crockers had it, they had it open, and his mother used to do all the beautiful drawings and paintings and everything, you know.
I believe he used to have some really nice old furniture and that in there as well.
Yeah, so I think John, he lives down in Esperance now, and he does show people, if ever you go down to Esperance, he does show them his mother's paintings, and he's got the big gun collection, all fancy guns. And
John Crocker, his name is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Mundrabilla. Your son's got Mundrabilla Station. And the roadhouse is... is that operated by a South Australian company?
No.
It just seems funny that the fuel prices were always cheaper at Mundrabilla and Euclid now, and then Border Village is just a bit dearer, and Nullarbor Roadhouse is the most expensive.
Yeah, no. The people that own Mundrabilla Roadhouse, they used to be crayfishermen somewhere up, you know, goodness knows whatever it is, you know, up the coast of Western Australia. But they have, what do you call this fuel? It's the cheapest fuel anyway on the highway.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, they were getting united at one point in time, and something or other else. But it was coming from coming in from South Australia, I understood at one point in time. Whereas the others were coming from WA or something.
Yeah.
But
Cockabiddy and Kaiguna all belong to one big firm, all accountants. Yeah, so they've got it.
You can tell by their pricing. Yeah,
they have. So the only private ones are really Euclid with Rasa Petrupas and Mundravilla Roadhouse, and then Balladonia. And Balladonia and the BP at Norseman used to be the same fellow, Prentival. I don't know if you've heard of him, millionaire.
What was his name?
Prentival.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, whether he's still got it or not, I'm not
I
sure.
remember that the quarantine station used to be in Norseman, just at the top of the hill as you're going down the hill.
Yeah.
Whereas now, of course, it's out the border, but South Australia's are still in Sajuna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
It changes, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Kybo, you took the station, or took up the lease?
Yeah.
Because it's a lease, isn't it, that you have?
It's a lease.
Yeah. The land is actually what do they call it? It's sort of like government land.
Government land.
Yeah. And then you have
the lands department. You've got to do so much improvements and run so much stock and everything. And you're not allowed to crop any of, although they're getting a bit lenient now. If you apply for it, you can crop, because Cananda Station, the other side of Rollina, they've cropped all the speargrass.
All right.
Piled up all the hay the last few years.
Why don't they let you crop it?
To give back to the cattle, but you weren't allowed to plant crops of wheat or anything, you know, but just doing the natural. But I think they're allowing different pastoralists and farmers to do things like that. Yeah. You want to sit down if you want.
Running, okay, in Rawlina, right behind where we're staying there, they've got 63,000 sheep, I believe, running.
Yeah.
And then I see there's a lot of cattle out this way as well. Is there, it must obviously be viable. Is there a problem with it? Do you get enough rain and that sort of thing? Or?
Well, we had 16,000 sheep here at one time, and 2 years ago we had 4,000 sheep killed by dingoes.
Right.
So that's why the ones that have got the sheep now are all in 6-foot netting fences. Yeah, so, you know, that we did have. And Colin, our son, had sheep as well, but you just can't have them for the dingoes, because we don't have the netting fences.
Now, are they all dingoes, or are there other dogs in there as well?
The wild dogs are worse than the dingoes.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and the trouble is that with the native missions, there's Junjunjara about 150 k's north here.
Yeah, that's on the old Gun Barrel Highway. That they won't let you go through there, will they?
Off it, yeah.
Yeah, Gun Barrel Highway actually runs through it, I think, doesn't it? Or is that, no, it's the South Australian side, isn't it? That's right, yeah.
This is just off the Anverdell Highway.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
South of the Anverdell, but you know, they've all got their dogs and they're breeding them, and of course then they leave, the natives go walk about, and of course the dogs go walk about too.
Right.
Yeah, and mate with all the dingoes, and they're our biggest problems, so we've just had to get out of sheep, yeah, and just concentrate on cattle.
Now, how big would Kybo be?
760,000 acres.
And how many cattle would you run on that?
We've only got a little over 1,000 at the moment, because we're just going out of sheep into the cattle and breeding them up. But some of them have 3,000-4,000 cattle.
So as far as things like mustering and that sort of thing would be concerned, do you keep them in paddock type situations, or they just graze on the property and you've got to go out?
And, you know, we do have paddocks where you can put your draft off your young bulls and everything like that, you know, and you do.
And then to muster them in, you've got to use choppers, or you go out on bikes, or you just
vehicles. Right. If you shut off your water, well, they come in for water, so you capture them.
Oh, sneaky!
Yeah, so, yeah. If you pick.
But the ultimate thing is to have trap yards. So when you're ready to muster, you just shut your trap yards off, so they're walking, they can get a drink, but they can't get out.
Yes.
And we've got 3 of them.
So that's how most of them do, is just turn your waters off and you get them coming.
Right, I'm still getting this on.
You don't turn your water off, you let them come in, you turn your trap yards off.
Yeah.
Right.
They can walk in but they can't walk out.
Yeah.
You have a raceway with spears so they can get...
Yeah, I just wondered about that because I did a thing on the Gibb River Road, and when I was up there, somehow or other I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the guys at Mabletown Station up there saw what I was doing and asked me if I'd do a muster that, film a muster they had, as well as other stuff. I got some footage I could never ever afford to pay for. If I was just to pay for choppers and that sort of thing, I spent probably 3 or 4 hours a year in a chopper all over the place. But yeah, they were in a chopper watching 2 little single-seater choppers down below, sort of mustering these things, and a guy on a horse. No, 2 guys on horses. One was a Frenchman, one was a black guy. Yeah. Black fella. But of course it's very inhospitable country up there where they are, whereas here it's fairly open, isn't it? So,
yeah.
And it's very hard to get Australians to work, so you've got to use foreigners and backpackers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Next door.
Well, I think the other thing too is a lot of these days trying to get people to move out of the cities, isn't it? They seem to all want to move in.
Yeah.
Why I don't like caravan parks is because it's why do you think I left the city? I got to get away from these tin cans, and you want to stick me in a little yard full of them.
Years ago, the young ones would be out working in the country and looking forward to going out being jackaroos and everything, but now
it's a different world. Well, it is a different world. I mean, if you stop and think about the fact that we were brought up on, as I say, on the sheep's back and the farming also, and the whole thing is drifted around where farming's next. Well, then the seasons have changed too, haven't they? How do you get on for rain out here?
We have an average rainfall about 7-8 inches, wouldn't it be?
It's 9 inch rainfall country, and we average that over the 50 years we've been here. We've averaged that. And 3 years ago we had 21 inches, which didn't do any good at all.
How long ago did you have your last rain?
About a week ago.
Right, because I've been keeping an eye on the forest thing, because there's no weather between Forest and Kalgoorlie, according to the...
we had 6 mils a week ago. Right,
because we got 20 mil in Kalgoorlie the other night, and it actually came a long way up the road, about 230 odd k on the road, because it was a nice slippery road.
Yeah.
My car's got most of it on it and under it. And
But getting back to the workforce, 50 years ago I started off as a jackaroo for a big South Australian pastoral company who own about 28 stations throughout Australia, and after about 3 years they sent me out to open up Roland Props, which is the biggest station and biggest sheep station in West Australia.
Is that the one we were just talking about? It's got the 63,000 sheep. Yep. It's right behind me apparently, just over the fence.
Yeah, but I was at the very early stages of it. There was no sheep there.
Doing the development.
I was the development manager, so I was there at the very early stages, but having had the benefit of working for McLaughlin's and going to 5 or 6 of their stations in South Australia, I realised that we're on a new loop. And so much undeveloped country here in West Australia that I thought I'd have to have a go at it. Sometimes I wish I hadn't, but we're here.
Okay, you say with rainfall, but underground we've got the biggest water catchment system probably in the world.
We've got 9 operational bores at the moment.
Yep.
And you can drink all of them.
Yep.
But as you go south it gets very salty.
Right.
But when I was at school, which is a long time ago, I was told that the Euclid Basin was, draw a map on the Nullarbor, it was everywhere. It's not.
Artesian, they said.
Bullshit.
Plenty of water, but more north of northern Queensland, that sort of area.
Jill and I and my son have done almost 40 bores up in the Great Victoria Desert. And we got the bore that started the Junior Jarrah mission, which I wish we hadn't. But anyway, there's no artesian basin up there.
No, it's further east, northeast, isn't it? Around the.
I don't know. Nobody's. I'm waiting on somebody to tell me.
South Australia.
Northern South Australia and Queensland. We're down under the Cooper and Lake Eyre and that sort of thing.
But we're happy here because, as I say, we've got 9 operational bores and you can drink all of them. And if you go to the station south of us, you're lucky to drink one of them.
But the water that's down in the caves, Very clean.
Salt, yeah, it's salty as shit.
It is salty, is it?
Saltier than the sea.
All right, okay.
My son and I did 19 bores for the main roads between Euclid and Baladonia, and every bore was saltier than the sea.
What about going down into the caves and actually the actual water that they actually get in the caves themselves? So
That's it, saltier than the sea.
it is salty, is it?
Yeah.
All right, I was
Most
under the
water,
impression it was
when you drill
fresh
down
and
40
clean.
feet, you're in it.
I was under the impression you were fresh and clean in there.
No.
It's very clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you see the video that they come up, that's what I've got to try and do is get some video. But we'll have a look at Wee Bubby Cave. I think next time I go through. I've got no intention of going down into them. I've already done most of the ones along the air highway. But Captain Cave, I could never find the bloody thing. Yeah. It's just off the side going from going into Cocklebitty Cave, but it's not. Can't find it. Is there an entrance to it or not?
The point I will make that if you do anything about the Nullarbor, it has to be right, because we get so much bullshit.
Yeah, well, this is on the maps.
No offence, but
it's just off to the left, just not long after you leave it. And I drove around and around and around and with a GPS and bloody thing's not here. Someone's moved it, they've stolen it.
There's one of
Report it to the police.
from Cocklebitty on the south.
Murray, yeah. Apparently it's a walk of about 700 metres down into that one or something or other. Into the water.
Down first.
Yeah. No, I'm not for me. There's cave divers that do that. I'll try and get their footage. Yes,
I've never heard of Captain Cave.
Yeah,
you've got a list of all the caves on the Nullarbor.
Must be a new one that they've discovered recently.
Don't know. It's not there. Someone's stolen it if they have. I mean, I couldn't find it.
South of the big Cocklebitty Cave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's... That video's done and dusted, so I don't need to worry about that one.
You'll have to send us a copy of that.
Look, I will. It's... I went across and I filmed going across. This is back in 2010. And I thought, I'm going to do the air highway. I'm going to spend three or 4 days. So this is where the interest in the old coach road was, and I'm thinking, well,
Yeah, no, they just, it's not any of my stories there that I've got. None of them go, along the top. That's all the bottom. Yeah, so... It's just, different ones that have been there, Talbot and everything, none of them mention anything about going north of the highway. Because they...
North of the escarpment.
North of the escarpment. And Talbot took up, Tom Talbot took up...
That's from Majority Euclid, you mean?
But he took up Mundarilla Pastoral Station, and so the station went up north on top of the escarpment, Mundarilla, and none of them... in any of his stories or anything, mention the top coach road or anything, as tourists or anyone going on it. They all just go along the bottom of the escarpment. Yeah, so you're the second person that's interested in the coach road, so...
Well, I read on exploreroz.com there's a lot of people who, they say they've been along it. There's all the stories they've all been along it.
There is a route
but
there.
But the thing being is I was more interested in, well, okay, it's all one thing to go along the thing, but what's the history of it?
Yeah.
And that was it, so... I mean, the trans thing, I sort of figured, well, when it came along today, the reason they don't want people going along there is, I suppose the chances are, well, it's mainly, I think, that they break down, or is it that they get caught in the wet?
No, they break down on the railways and you've got to go and rescue them.
Well, so what's the difference there and between Hague and whatever, and between there and Hague? I mean, the same situation, isn't it? So why do they stop at Hague and they say you can't, you're not allowed to drive between Hague and...
Yeah, that's where the Shire of Kalgoorlie Boulder finishes, and so it's really railway land following the railway line, and Crown land, and so they're not wanting anyone to go.
The Kalgoorlie Boulder Shire goes from Kalgoorlie to the border. But they reckon... So
where does Dundas come in then? Because that's...
No, this is Kalgoorlie Boulder Shire.
You're in yep. It's the next one. That's what I say. Where is their boundary?
And halfway down.
Righto. Okay. Yep. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, and Kalgoorlie Boulder relinquished their responsibility at Hague which is bullshit because they go to the border, and the railways don't like people going any further on the Trans-Access Road because it just creates problems if they break down.
And they see places.
Recently, the railways got onto us, and there was a broken down vehicle in the middle of summer with 4 young kids, Aboriginals.
Oh, right.
And we had to go and rescue them, and it cost me $1,050, whatever, plus labour, to get rid of them. And the Aboriginal Affairs Department didn't want anything to know about it. This bloke had a criminal record. It's just a nightmare. But they were trying to creep along the railway line. They look at the map and say, that goes to South Australia. They want to get back to their mission.
And look at the towns, seeing Hague, Nurina,
and they're not there anymore.
It's all towns, and
they're not there anymore.
Because there's an awful lot of travellers, such as myself, enthusiasts and that sort of thing, who do travel that road, even though you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I suppose we take the chance, but at the same time,
Be well prepared.
I'm well prepared. In actual fact, funnily enough, we got my son went with me as far as Meriden. We decided to go out through Gamelling out that way. And just 2 kilometres short of Gamelling, he's got an 80 series and I've got a 100 series. His is a 92 and mine's a 99. And we get 2 kilometres out of Gamelling, and all of a sudden over the two-way says, "Hey, dude," he said, "I've got a problem. The lights are on." Right, okay, stop, turn around, go back. And he's had thrown a fan belt, or a fan belt's broken, and that's thrown the other 2 belts off, so he's got no belts on. And of course it's Easter Sunday, Easter Friday, Good Friday, Good Friday.
Good time.
So anyway, I hooked him on and towed him into town, and then they went looking for belts and that sort of thing, because I actually, as it turns out, I had 2 spare sets of belts in the car. Yeah, because what happens before I do every trip, I say, replace the belts, give us the old ones go in the spares. Yeah. Well, he's got a new set of my belts on, and we managed to get them on in the end. I rang my former technician. Okay, Brett, there's a book we want to have a look at. Walker in the Wilderness, The Life of R.J. Anketel, anyway, written by Judith Anketel.
History and Press.
And so that's the story about him.
Yeah.
And everything he did.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, there's over 200 more just like it on this channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, and we'll let you know when our next video is available. If you liked this video, hit the like button. And if you weren't that impressed, please don't hit the dislike button. Instead, tell us why, so that we can do something about it. Thanks for watching.